another episode of Keep It on the DL. I'm Devin Bonanno. As always, alongside with me, I got Lou Angelillo. Now, Lou, we got a little bit of a quiet week here, but like we've been saying, I mean, the NFL is going to dominate some landscape here once the NHL and baseball and the NBA all ended their season. So we do have some MLB news, believe it or not. The MLB is really winding down here. Today, this morning actually, the Marlins made a very historic move, hiring Kim Ng. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her last name yet, but she's the first female GM in, I think, sports history. So this was a great hire by the Marlins. There's a lot of history behind her. She was the assistant GM to Cashman in the late 90s with the Yankees, and everybody around baseball is really praising her, saying how this is very well deserved. She's been all over baseball. She's been working with a number of different organizations in the front office. And, I mean, Jeter and she seem to have some history with both being Yankees in the late 90s. So I'm really excited. I think that this is really a progressive move. This is great for baseball and great for sports.
It is. Props to Jeter for being the first to make the hire. Sometimes it's always hard to just be the first to do it, but he ended up being the first. So props to Jeter there. And, she's going to be, I think she should be treated like, every other GM. They need to have a good season. They turned a lot of things around the Marlins this year. And that franchise is headed in the right direction. Jeter got it turned around, got some big contracts off the books, stripped everything down, and now they're ready to roll. They got their new GM, and I didn't know she was an advisor to Cashman. And obviously, in the late '90s, that's when Jeter was coming up. So that explains the past relationship and can definitely explain the hire. But best of luck to Kim and the Marlins organization. And I guess we could state this quickly, leading into our next segment here. And Don Mattingly won the NL Manager of the Year.
Yes, he did, and deservingly so. So we'll jump right into it with our MLB awards. We hit all the nails on the head, Lou. I believe besides the AL Rookie of the Year, I think it was.
Yes.
Everything else.
Yeah, I think we liked Luis Robert, and funny enough, Kyle Lewis won unanimously. So I think we thought the playoff implication meant a little more there, but guess not. Kyle Lewis, had a fantastic season, absolutely. But congratulations to Lewis for winning that AL Rookie of the Year MVP.
Yeah, Kyle Lewis, we'll start off with that, with the Rookie of the Year awards. He was actually just the second rookie to lead his team in average, home runs, and walks, which is a really cool stat there. Yeah, I'm looking at it on MLB.com there. So I guess Kyle Lewis, deservingly so. And like you said, I was surprised that it was unanimous anyway. Devin Williams, NL Rookie of the Year winner out in Milwaukee for the NL. And then we'll stick with
Yeah, and something really interesting about that, Dev. Devin Williams, the first player to win an award, to win that award as a pitcher who did not register a start or a save the entire season. So it just shows you, the direction of this game and what gets appreciated more nowadays. Basically coming in from the bullpen and being able to chew up a couple innings and give up no runs is the way that the game is going.
Right.
And Devin Williams not making a start or a save, had a extremely low ERA, was absolutely nothing short of brilliant this season. But congratulations to him. I think this was another one we got wrong. I think we both thought maybe Cronenworth was going to take this for the Padres, but it was Devin Williams with his monstrous season and extremely low ERA. I believe it was under 1. Just dominating that NL and winning this award.
Yeah, that was a really cool stat, Lou. When you told me that last night, I was very intrigued by that. So he's going to be a dominant force in the NL Central as a reliever for many years to come. I anticipate the Brewers making a lot of changes this offseason. One domino fell already with Ryan Braun not returning to Milwaukee. It's going to be very weird to not see him in a Brewer uniform.
Yes. And the Mariners, too, they got Kalinick coming up, and they could have a really solid outfield.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's about time. What Mariners last made the playoffs when?
Ichiro, right?
Yeah, something like that.
When they had Ichiro, that was the last time.
Yeah, a long time. I think they definitely have the longest drought it might be in sports, for playoff appearances. So
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. With the AL, for Manager of the Year award, again, deservingly so, Kevin Cash. I'm not a fan of him. I know you're not a big fan of him from a fan perspective, but he is a very good manager. Led the Rays to their first AL East title since 2010. And I mean, a really cool stat here on MLB.com. Again, I mean, this guy, like we were talking about throughout the MLB season, especially with the postseason, just pushes the right buttons at different times. You know, I mean, he implemented 59 different batting orders in the 60-game season. That's unbelievable. You know, obviously managers...
He never repeated one?
He only repeated once.
Wow, so it wasn't like they had a couple guys that were interchangeable and there was one lineup one day and then they went back to that lineup in 3 days. It was 59 straight, totally different lineups.
Yeah, exactly. 59
That's
different
crazy.
Batting orders in 60 games. That is crazy. That's crazy. But as we saw in the World Series, he's not afraid to make some changes, regardless of how well his pitchers are playing or his position players are playing.
Guess so.
Yeah. So there's Kevin Cash in the AL, and then over in the NL, our boy Don Mattingly. I'm so happy for him, Lou. I'm sure you are too. We'll get your thoughts in a second, but we said last week, I mean, he has just been pounded and pounded and pounded with terrible Marlins teams. I mean, it just seemed that he had to get fired at some point. You know, I mean, I was surprised he even stuck around for this year, but he managed his way out of a Marlins team that no one expected to make the playoffs, and they made their first postseason appearance in 17 years. You know, with really no big name guys. So big props to Mattingly there.
Yeah, they had their first postseason loss in history, too. Series lost in history, the Marlins this year. Never lost a postseason series till 2020. But, yeah, congrats to Don. Jeter stuck with him. He definitely knew, Don wasn't the issue in Miami. It was the talent that was the issue, and knew that if they just got the young players in there, Mattingly could work around it and figure out a lineup that worked and get a young pitching staff to have confidence, go out there, throw, and be a competitive team. And that's all you needed to be this year, was competitive. In a 60-game season, you were going to find your way in the playoffs. And Marlins did exactly that. And Mattingly overcame a ton with half his team getting COVID and so on and so forth. But real good job by Mattingly. And, now they set a bar now, the Marlins. And they just got to keep working from here, and we'll see if Mattingly can keep it going, and this new GM and Jeter can keep this plan they have that seems to be working on a roll.
Absolutely. I think the sky's the limit with the Marlins. I mean, of course, Jeter buys a team, and within 2 years of his ownership, I mean, they make the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. So you're seeing positive changes down in Miami, for sure. We'll move on to the Cy Young. Again, we predicted both of these, very well-deserving, unanimous for Shane Bieber in the AL, first unanimous choice in the AL since 2011. No surprise there. Like we talked about also, over in the NL, I mean, it was a lot more contested, I think, for the Cy Young as opposed to the AL, since Bieber was going to run away with it anyway. Trevor Bauer winning the NL Cy Young after leading the NL with a 1.73 ERA and a .79 WHIP, and he held his opponents to a nasty 159 average. So, I mean, both of these guys were absolutely dominant. I don't think Bauer's going to be a Yankee. I can only hope. I have a real gut feeling he's going to be a Met. I just don't see the Yanks shelling out the money for he and LeMahieu. But, I mean, if the Yanks can get the 2019 AL Cy Young Award winner and the 2020 NL Cy Young Award winner in their rotation for 2021, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't see Bauer in Yankee pinstripes. I don't think he suits the pinstripes anyway. Just his demeanor, the way he carries himself. It is somewhat alarming. I'm not saying he does it in a poor way. He just doesn't do it in exactly a Yankee way. It'd be a very different personality for the Yankees locker room. You don't see a lot of Yankees very outspoken. The only time you see Yankees outspoken is when they're losing games and they're getting pissed off. But I'm not totally sure if Bauer fits the pinstripe mold, but he is going to land a big deal. I don't think it's with the Mets either. I think it could be a team like the Braves or a team that's really needs that pitcher to put him over the edge. Maybe the Angels. I don't see the Mets being in play for him here. I just don't. I think they got DeGrom, Syndergaard, they got Stroman to opt in. I know they have money to spend now, but I just do not think that Bauer is going to land on the Mets. That's just my opinion. And, well deserving to Shane Bieber, his AL Cy Young winner, unanimous. I mean, you saw it coming. He had the most dominant season of any, AL pitcher in those 60 games, whatever it was. But where Bauer lands is yet to be determined. I don't think we're going to find out till January, February.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's very rare that you find out where these guys are landing, especially right now, particularly before Christmas, for sure. It is very rare. So it could be interesting to see where he goes. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Angels as well. I think they're really itching to make some moves and to get competitive. Saw them last year with Rendon. Maybe this year they add another arm with Bauer. So we'll see what happens there. Both those guys, again, very deserving of the Cy Young. And, I mean, Shane Bieber is still so young, too. The Indians have a lot of good arms. So, I mean, if it's going to be weird when they trade Frankie, because it seems inevitable at this point, but they always seem to find a way to be competitive in the AL. Always. Every year. So,
They do.
Yeah. Finally, we'll move on to the big award, the MVP. In the AL, Jose Abreu ran away with it. I don't know, real quick, Lou, did you see that someone voted LeMahieu, gave him an 8th place vote, by the way?
I mean, at least they gave him the vote, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Someone voted Voit ahead of him. That 8th put the...
I mean, Voit had a fantastic year. I thought he was too low on the list. He was 3rd on my list. I had Abreu, LeMahieu, and Voit. Those were top 3 MVP candidates right there. Jose Ramirez didn't do that all year. He had a great last 2 weeks. That inflated all of his stats.
Right.
Not a huge fan of Jose Ramirez being in that top 3 whatsoever. I would have put, Bieber would have rounded out my top 5 probably. I think I would have threw Bieber a Cy Young MVP vote before I would have Jose Ramirez. But yeah, it was Jose Abreu ran away with it. We thought this was going to happen, but what I didn't see happening was the runner-up being Jose Ramirez. That's very questionable, kind of hurts. It's like, did you guys watch the same DJ LeMahieu that we watched this year? I mean, he's won the batting title in the American League, and it's just like, no, he plays with the Yankees, so let's go Jose Ramirez. I mean, the Yankee bias is true. It's out there. It's extremely tough to win an award as a Yankee. Judge Rookie of the Year was the last one. Then before that was A-Rod, his 2 MVP seasons, I think, in 05 and 07. So you got to be hands down the best player in baseball. It can't even be close in order for you to win the MVP as a Yankee. I don't think Mike Trout would have as many MVPs as he does right now if he played with the Yankees. So the Yankee bias is true. It's out there. Obviously not saying LeMahieu should have won, but he's easily the runner-up. I think he could have come away with a couple first-place votes. But, I mean, Abreu, rightfully so, won the award. Don't want to take anything away from him. Had a fantastic season. The White Sox had a fantastic season, winning almost 40 games on the year, I believe. But they got their future is bright there. That's another team that could go out and get a Trevor Bauer and pair him with Giolito in that rotation with Keuchel as the 3rd starter. That's a solid 3 for the White Sox. So they have something special building in that organization, and Jose Abreu's definitely part of it. And I saw it on his face. He was so happy, and it's some of the things you love to see. I don't know why he kind of hit himself in the face a couple of times towards the end. I don't know if you saw the video. I was like, keep it together, man. But he was happy. He was speechless, basically, just, overcome with emotion. So very happy to see Jose Abreu take home the AL MVP.
Yeah, I am too. I am too, for sure. He seems like a great guy too. And every year, it just seems like he's just consistent, and he gets lost in, lack of a better term, lost in the sauce a little bit by playing with the White Sox,
Yeah.
Very, very scary hitter. He's got a great glove at first, too. So I was very happy for him to win the AL MVP for sure. Yep. And then finally, moving over to NL, our boy, Freddie Freeman, finally getting the recognition he deserves, winning an NL MVP. I just hope that people are actually going to be scared of Freddie Freeman, and B, recognize him as a superstar in this league, especially after the year he had this year. I mean, he was second in the NL with a 341 average and second in the MLB with an OPS of 1.102. So he's unbelievable, and he is every year, and another first baseman that has a glove at first that can really play as well. So really, really happy for Freddie Freeman, a superstar in this league. He is a lot of fun to watch, has great charisma as well. Seems like a really fun guy to have in the clubhouse too.
Yeah, and if you guys are interested in spray charts, check out Freddie Freeman's career spray chart. It is unbelievable. The whole thing is filled up from left field line to right field line. Homers, doubles, singles, triples. It is unbelievable. The guy hits the ball all over the place. He's the exact kind of player you want for first base. He doesn't need to be fast. He doesn't need to have a great arm. He needs to be able to pick it, which he clearly can, and be able to hit for power and for average. And he's been showing he can do that his whole career. This is a huge, interesting piece. Dev, he's a free agent next year.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And he is my number one target if you're Cashman. This guy needs to be your number one target. He's fun. He's laughable. He's great clubhouse guy, a guy that every organization would want on their team, and he's going to make a big splash next year. And if the Yankees could put him at first base, I think you're looking at something that's almost unstoppable if they can go out and get Freddie Freeman next year. But congrats to Freddie. I know we're both extremely happy.
Yeah, no,
for him.
definitely. Honestly, top 5 favorite MLB players. Easily for me, for sure. And Lou,
he's easy to like.
He's very easy to like. And to your point about him being a free agent after next season, which I did not know. I mean, obviously, Yankee fans have a very, you can look at it as a good or a bad habit, but a habit of saying, "Yep, he's a free agent. He's going to want to play for the Yankees automatically." You have not seen the Yanks spend money lately. Over the course of 5 to 7 years, you really haven't. I can't remember a big time free agency signing by them.
They got Cole, but they went out and got Cole, and they traded for Stanton, who has a huge contract.
Yes.
So they got those two players. But other than the signing wise, no, they haven't. They've made a lot of great small signings like a Gio Urshela, a DJ LeMahieu, those kind of pieces. But signing, they made some great trades getting Torres in here, but signings, just a couple of bullpen signings in Chapman, Britton, Ottavino, things like that. But man, I would break the bank open for Freddie Freeman here. I could see him wanting to stay in Georgia. He seems like that kind of guy that would like to finish out his career with the Braves. But hey, the Braves say, Freddie, we're sorry. We need to pay Albies. We need to pay Acuna. We need to pay Soroka. We need to pay Fried. We need to pay Anderson and these starting pitchers. Freddie could be on the outs looking in. Same sort of thing with a player like Sanchez for the Yankees or Luke Voit for the Yankees. But if I'm the Yankees, I ride this season out with Voit at first. I just re-sign LeMahieu. I basically keep things as they were. I go out and try to get a bullpen piece such as maybe Brad Hand or Trevor Rosenthal. I make Clint Frazier my everyday left fielder, Hicks and Judge, and just ride this season out because the Yankees are definitely capable of winning with this team. And then next year, you break the bank for Freeman if it doesn't work. But that's a lot of baseball we just went over there for about 20 minutes, so we can transition into football here. But that's my take on Freeman.
Yeah, no, I would love to see him in pinstripes. I don't know if it'll happen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're seeing him in pinstripes in 2022. So that'll do it for baseball. It looks like that'll do it for the postseason. Well, obviously the postseason, but until we get some hot stove, whenever that is, and hopefully some clarity on the 2021 season.
Yeah. But the qualifying offers really
yes.
quick. But LeMahieu expected declined. Going to look for a multi-year deal, and Marcus Stroman opted in with the Mets. Good move by him. He wasn't going to see anywhere north of $18 million a year on any contract. So, Stroman opts in with the Mets, and Steve Cohen fired everybody.
Yep, Steve Cohen making his presence known already. I mean, I love the guy. Obviously, I'm not a Met fan, but I would love to have him as an owner of one of my teams. He's gonna be awesome. You see how much he's interacting on Twitter?
Oh yeah, he's big. He's big out there on Twitter. You don't want to interact too much and take the fans. Like we said it last time. You don't want to let the fans run the team. But I saw that entourage clip of Artie coming in with the paintball gun and shooting everybody, and it's like, you're fired. I think they had Steve Cohen's Steve Cohen face on there, and was like just like shooting saying you're fired, everyone's fired. But that was a funny clip.
Right? Yeah. No, that's anything with Ari.
Will Pine.
You can find anything in Entourage, anything and everything, and it applies somewhere in life. I can promise you that. All right, well, with that, we'll move on to some football. We had an interesting week last week. Not too many upsets, but we had some great games, some close games. That Chiefs-Panthers game, the Chiefs were 10.5 point favorites. I believe it went to 11 on Sunday. Only won by 2. Lou, I know you're keeping score. Give us some stats on our predictions. Who did what last week?
Last week, I'm coming on a back-to-back 8-point weeks. Last week, I had the Saints +5 on Monday night. They absolutely destroyed the Bucs. And I had Green Bay -6 as my lock, and they rolled over whoever they were playing. I forgot.
The Niners.
Whoever it was, the Niners. They rolled over them. They went out there and won. And the Packers, to me, it was kind of a risky pick because Aaron Rodgers really never played San Fran well, especially out there. But he did this time around with a depleted San Fran team. Easy covers. Dev, you took my Giants. They went and won outright in Washington, and their offensive line looks so much better in that game. Yep. Oh, my goodness. Against a defensive front like Washington, that's so much improvement right there. You absolutely love to see. And there's a recipe. When you take care of the football, you're going to win games. Daniel Jones didn't have a turnover in that one. Giants win. And your pick that missed, your lock, Seattle -3, got involved in a shootout in Buffalo, and Seattle's D is that bad.
Yeah. That's what's going to hold them back from winning the whole thing is they really cannot stop a nosebleed, it seems like. They just let everybody run town on them, going up and down the field like crazy. But they obviously do have an offense that can keep up with everybody too. But defense wins championships, in my opinion. I still feel very heavily on that. So I guess I'll segue into that. With the Seahawks and Rams. This is my favorite game of the week this week. I think it's going to be a great, great game down in L.A. The Rams are coming off a bye. Seahawks coming off that loss in Buffalo. This is going to be a really tight, contested game. I think it's going to be very high scoring, even though the Rams do have a very good defense. And the Seahawks obviously have a terrible defense and a great offense. I'm going to take the Seahawks as my upset pick here. I think there's a lot of value in them at +125 on DraftKings as of right now. Either them or the Bills out in Arizona. But I'm going to stick with the Seahawks for my upset pick this week. My lock, I'm taking a big number. I'm taking your lock last week. I'm taking the Packers minus 13.5 in Lambeau against the second worst team in football, those Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm taking the Packers minus 13.5 as my lock, and I'm taking the Seahawks money line as my upset pick. Lou.
There you go. Green Bay, that's a big spread. Green Bay's going to win. If I had to pick, I would take Green Bay, but going to be a big number to cover there. I like the Bucs this week. After getting demoralized Monday night, Tom Brady, the Bucs are going to come out. That offense is going to show out, and they're going to be able to cover against Carolina, who's now missing McCaffrey again due to his shoulder injury. I think that Tampa offense is going to be too much for Carolina, and I don't think Carolina is going to be able to get a run game going against the Bucs. So I'm going to go Bucs minus 5.5. And my upset, Dev, what am I doing when I see a 2.5 point spread, Dev?
You're taking that team.
I'm taking that team. Bears plus 2.5 Monday night at Soldier Field. Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Vikings. Monday Night Football, not good for him. Never plays well Monday night. Bears plus 2.5. My upset lock.
Yeah. I love that.
Love
I love that Bears pick. I'm riding with you there. I really do. I just don't know how the Bears are as good as they are. They have a great defense. That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, Nick Foles has been very inconsistent. Allen Robinson, really their only weapon on offense. Jimmy Graham, though, kind of having a resurgence out in Chicago, so good for him. But, Lou, I also want to say one thing. I'll be completely honest with you. When the schedules come out for my teams, I go through them and I study them realistically for like a week or two. And I try to get a feel of who they're playing when and whatnot and how it, what am I trying to say? How many road games they're going to have in a row and things like that. I know the season's been very weird with the NFL, with teams having to switch games because of COVID and everything. I had no idea that the Jets had a bye week this week. I'll be completely honest with you.
You were just waiting for them the notification to say they lost? Is that it?
Well, basically, yeah. And then when I went on ESPN today and it said byes, Atlanta, Dallas, Kansas City, and New York, I was like, oh, man. I had no idea the Jets had a bye this week. I just had it as an L in my head. I don't think they're going to go 0-16 anymore, by the way. I think they're going to win Week 17 up in Foxborough. Just a gut feeling.
That's the one, not the Chargers?
Not the Charger game. I could see them, that or the Charger game next week.
Maybe 2 wins.
Maybe 2 wins. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. But that Monday night game next week, by the way, is really good. The Rams and the Bucs in Tampa.
Yeah.
Finally.
That'll be a good one.
Yep. Finally getting some good Monday night games this year. It's about damn time.
You know what? I just want to say when the Jets drafted Darnold, I said that he would be the ceiling for him would be Carson Palmer, and I think I overestimated that ceiling. I just wanted to say that Joe Flacco looks like a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. At least on Monday night he did.
Listen, the Jets are obviously going to draft Trevor Lawrence. Sam Darnold is still going to be a very good quarterback in this league. I was talking to our friend Tooch, who we had on a few weeks ago, about the NBA draft, and he said he's going to be a perfect fit out in Indy. With no clear path out there for quarterback. Phillip Rivers obviously is ancient. So, I mean, Darnold's going to be an established quarterback, a young quarterback. He's only 23 years old. He's still younger than Joe Burrow, believe it or not, and has 2 more years of NFL experience under his belt. I don't know how that works. Don't ask me. But I feel bad for Sam. I just don't think that he got a real opportunity in New York. But Trevor Lawrence is going to be just too sexy to pass up.
Probably will be.
Yeah, probably will be for sure. That's if the Jets get the number 1 overall pick, which very possible if they fall out of contention, which would be so Jets if they let the Jaguars.
Jags.
If they let the Jags get the number 1 pick. So Still got 60 games left in the NFL season overall in the regular season. Still,
yeah, and
to
my
be heard.
Giants are still in it. They're
And
still
the
in it. I
Giants?
mean, he beat Philly on Sunday, and you're a half game back of first place, and all you have to do is, basically beat Dallas and then beat Cincinnati. And then I think 6 wins will get you there. I do. I think 6. I think 6-10 is more than reasonable. So the Giants need to win 4 more games this year. 1 against Philly, 1 against Dallas, and then find 2 more wins on that schedule. But I really think they definitely have a chance. But if they lose to Philly on Sunday, Philly will win this division at 6-9-1. I think that's what Philly's probably going to win the division at. But
That is unbelievable.
yeah. And taking away some points from last Sunday's game, I want to touch on was that Colts-Ravens game on Sunday. I mean, the interception that was called for Marcus Peters that was overturned, originally called incomplete. The man put his hands up in the air, caught the ball, took 3 steps backwards, didn't maintain the process of the catch at all, dropped it on his way going down to the ground, and somehow that was overturned to a catch and fumble. But I absolutely hated the call. I thought that call was awful. I don't think any wide receiver would tell you that was a catch, or I want that to be a catch if I'm the wide receiver. That was really, really bad. Just a really bad call in that game. It totally flipped the game and put the momentum with the Baltimore Ravens to eventually go on and win. And then Thursday night, the Colts had a huge bounce back. Special teams really got it done for the Colts in this one. That block punt, getting him to shank a punt out of bounds, field position, and so on and so forth. They went out and dominated that second half. Tennessee didn't even score. And Tennessee defense needs to be a hell of a lot better because Ryan Tannehill is not getting you involved in shootout-type games. He can do a great job at turning around and handing off the football to Derrick Henry and not turning the ball over and making the open throws, but you're not going to say, "Hey Ryan, go throw, go get me 4 touchdowns tonight." It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see that Ravens Colts play before we just got in the air. At first glance, I didn't think he picked that off at all. I think it was really clear that he didn't, and the fact that they overturned the call is even weirder. So, I mean, all it takes, as clear as it was, I mean, all it takes is a little play like that, just one call like that to change the momentum of the game, and it cost the Colts.
Absolutely did.
It cost the Colts. So that'll do it for this week. Nice and sweet this week. Hopefully I don't go 0 for 4 over the past 4 weeks against Lou. He's really gaining momentum on me with the picks.
Oh, yeah, that's 30 to 34, the totals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Down
gonna
4.
be tight. It's gonna be a dogfight. Can Lou take the lead over me? We'll find out next week. Thanks as always, guys.
And next week we'll also get into a little NBA coming back. The Masters will be over. The NBA draft will be over. So we got a sizable menu for next week. Will the Giants be in the playoff hunt or not? So
yeah, we'll find out a lot for sure.
Yes.
And it's the week before Thanksgiving, believe it or not, which is crazy.
It is.
Yep. So we'll see. Will the Giants be in the lead? The NFC East with a 3-7 record. My God, that's crazy.
The beauty of the NFC East.
The beauty of the NFC East every year. All right, guys. Thank you as always. I'll talk to you next week.